What is up, you guys? For today's video, we are going to be testing out a palette that I just bought, and I'm so excited to share it with you guys, and that is the brand new Morphe 39L Hit the Lights palette. I mean, like, look at how pretty the packaging of it is. Like, this is so different than a lot of Morphe palettes. Like, I just love how purple it is and how, like, extra sparkly it is. And also, like, look at the back of it even. It is so beautiful. And if you haven't seen the inside of it yet, oh my gosh, it is so stunning, especially if you're into, like, brights and smoky colors. I mean, like, look at that. It is so beautiful. However, before we jump into it, I would really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button down below and give this video a like. And also, if you'd like to check me out on Instagram, my Instagram account is @lethal_kitten. So before we jump into using the palette, I do want to prime my eyelids first just to give a really good base to the shadows. And again, I'm just going to be using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Eye Primer. As you can tell, I'm running real low, so I have to like squeeze it real good out of the tube. Then I'm just going to use this Luxie 209 large shader brush just to buff it out. So today we are going to be using the Morphe Holiday palette, which is the 39L Hit the Lights, but isn't the packaging so pretty? I love like all this like metallic goodness and all the purple, you guys know, which is my all-time favorite color. Like, it's just so pretty. I love like this whole like texture to it too. It's really gorgeous. And even the back kind of has like a really cool design to it. Kind of reminds me of the Northern Lights in a way. So when we open her up, as you can see, there's just a lot of sparkle and shine with this palette, so it definitely screams a holiday palette to me. But I will say it's a little confusing. This palette is actually a collaboration with 4 Instagrammers, so each 8 eyeshadows right here are a different collab. And to me, this is just a little bit confusing. In a way, it almost seems like some of the shadows kind of overlap. And it just seems like some of these over in here are very similar to those and vice versa. I mean, it's still a really beautiful palette, but I just found it slightly confusing that they did like 4 mini collaborations. I would have honestly rather seen like 4 like mini palettes, but either way, I still think it's a really beautiful palette and I cannot wait to use it. So I don't know if this shows it better, but you can see like these 8 eyeshadows in this square right here is one palette, and here's another one, and then the shadows in the middle, the bigger pans, are not included in the collaborations, but I feel like that's kind of like why it feels like it's all over the place, because even these like little 8 eyeshadow kind of square things, they even have their own names to them, so they're definitely like mini palettes within a larger palette. This little mini palette right here called After Party is really calling my name. I just love how vibrant and really almost neon it is. But the first shade that we are going to be going in with is this beautiful neon yellow shade called 2 AM. And I'm just going to apply it in this inner kind of fourth of my lid using a Luxie 243. And I'm doing like little circular motions to kind of blend it upwards towards my brow. Ooh, that's really pretty. I will say it's very pastel almost. It's like neon but pastel at the same time. It's a really pretty shade. So as you have that yellow applied, the next shade that we are going to be using is this beautiful neon green shade called Outlate. And then using this Luxie 229, I'm just going to be applying it to the next kind of fourth of my lid. And again, I'm doing back and forth motions. And when I'm doing this too, I am overlapping it a little bit with the yellow just to get it really nice and blended. I'm just going to do my second layer because your girl wants it like super like poppin'. I will say though, I wish Morphe would do more of these like neon colors because these two are really pretty. I mean, like, yeah, I did have to build up the green just a little bit, but I mean, it's just such a different vibe. So going in with a little bit more of 2 AM, that brighter yellow on that brush that we used earlier, I'm just doing like a little fluffing action between the two colors just to get them really nice and blended. You may have to go in with a little bit more of that green shade too just to get it really nice and seamless. But nonetheless, I really like how these are blending together. Because neons are one of those shadows for me, they get like super chalky and just really dusty, and they can be super hard to work with. But so far, these two have been really nice. Man, these shades though have blended out so nicely. But the next shade that we are going to be going in with is this beautiful blue shade called Don't Stop. I don't know if you guys are like this too, but when I saw that, it reminded me of that Kesha song. I definitely start bopping to that song, but you know what? I do not want this video copyrighted. But with a different Luxie 229, I'm going to be applying this right next to the green. So the next fourth of our kind of like lit area. And again, I'm applying it in my crease and then blending it upwards. Doing these like little circular motions. And again, I am overlapping it slightly with that green. That shadow definitely wasn't like super pigmented on the first application, so I'm just gonna build it up a little bit, again using that same brush. So it seems like these shadows are like not super pigmented on the first application, but you can definitely build them up really nice. Because I mean, that's only like 2 dips, and that's actually pretty good. I really like this blue though too, because it's kind of like a sky blue in a way, but it has like a little bit of like that neon pop to it. You know, I'm going to do this a little bit different than what I was actually planning on doing, so I'm going to take the blue and actually apply it to the outer kind of V as well, and start really buffing it outwards in this kind of like winged shape. So I'm like taking my brush and kind of like flicking it upwards and just kind of creating this little wing. Now you definitely don't have to do this step, but I just want the blue a little bit more smoky and a little bit more deep. So what I'm going to do is mix this blue in with a little bit of the black, kind of like a 1-to-1 ratio. And then using this Sigma E33, I'm going to be lightly applying this in the outer third of my lid. I'm like focusing it in this outer kind of crease area and then doing little circular motions to blend it upwards. But I gotta say, that matte black in this palette, ooh, she is super pigmented. Like, I barely put my brush in it. And like, look at how deep this blue's already getting. Like, I am actually really impressed with that. I wonder how that black looks like by itself. Like, you know, like in a dark, like black, really sultry, smoky eye look. Ooh, I really want to try that now. So once you have all of that focused right here, what I'm going to do is take whatever is left on my brush and start bringing it inwards. So what I'm doing is putting my brush in my crease and then following my crease inwards towards my nose. I'm just doing this really lightly just to give a little bit more definition where the green is. I love how like neon yet smoky this look is. It is so pretty. And formula wise though, of the shadows that I have used, they are very buildable with the formula. They aren't like super crazy pigmented on first initial application, but I've noticed with a buildable formula that it's just so much easier to blend out the shadows, and these ones definitely have that. Like, I have had no problems blending out any of the shades so far. They have literally blended out like instantly, which is really awesome. But nonetheless, off camera, I'm just gonna cut my crease and then I'll be right back. So once your cut crease is 100% dry, now we are going to start working on the lid, and the shade that I want to go in with is this beautiful neon pink shade called Reckless. And then using this Luxie 209, I'm going to be tapping this on the outer kind of third of my lid. I'm not bringing it in too far, just enough so you get like a little pop of pink. And when I'm doing this too, I'm taking my brush the long way just so I can really fit it in that lid and get it all in the creases of my eye. And when I'm doing this too, I'm like really pressing it in. I'm not doing a swiping motion. So once you have that pink applied and blended out, the next shade that we are going to be going in with is this beautiful like iridescent blue shade called Ghosted. And then using this dampened little shader brush, I'm just going to be applying this anywhere that that base is still showing, and I'm also overlapping it a little bit over the pink. Ooh, that's actually really pretty. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it or not, but actually this shade's really pretty next to the pink. I barely had my brush dampened and it like oxidized and gave like this really weird line next to the pink. So I'm just gonna take a different brush and apply it dry and just try to like fix this hot mess that I made myself. I was experimenting on the other eye and I don't know, I just don't like how like this matte and like this shimmer, like how they're going next to each other. So I'm just gonna take Ghosted and apply it more as like a topper over the pink as well. I'm just doing like a little dusting of it too. I don't want to like overpowering the pink. I still want that pink to really show through. But I just want like a little shimmer on top. When I first did the shimmer like all over the lid, I was like, why did you do that? It looks terrible, but now it's actually starting to grow on me a little bit. I like this like pinkish kind of like purple situation that it made. It is so pretty and just really sparkly, especially in person. But nonetheless, off camera, I'm just gonna kind of like clean things up a little bit as well as apply my complexion products, and then I'll be right back. So here's where I'm at right now after applying my complexion products as well as some liner and some lashes, and now we are going to start working on the lower lash line just to really tie everything together. And the first thing that we are going to be doing is lining our waterline using this Colourpop gel liner pencil in the shade DTLA. And with this pencil, I'm just going to line my waterline and slightly smoke it downwards at the same time. And then before this liner sets, I'm just going to take this Moda brush, this little smudger brush, and start blending it out. So once you smoked out that liner, now we are going to be setting it with eyeshadow, and using the same brush, I'm going to mix a little bit of the green and a little bit of the blue, maybe like a 1-to-1 ratio. And then using that same Moda brush, I'm just going to do a back and forth motion and set that liner. And last but not least, for the inner corner highlight, we are going to be using a shade that we used earlier, and that one is called Ghosted. And then using this little Moda smudger brush, I'm going to be packing the shit out of this into my inner corner, as well as bringing it underneath the inner tear duct area to open up the eye. But dang, that is so blinding. I love that. That is so pretty. I love it like with the lower lash line too, like this like mixture right here. It is stunning. But yeah, so here's the finish like using the Morphe 39L Hit the Lights palette. And when I was using this palette, I was not expecting to use only the little after party palette in this one, but I'm so happy that we did because I am literally obsessed with how this turned out. It's very like neon, it's kind of tropical yet smoky at the same time. So let's get into the nitty gritty details about the formula of this palette, and mattes wise, I absolutely adore the mattes in here, especially this neon green and the neon yellow. They literally blew my mind, and what I like about them is that they're very easy to blend out and they're really easy to build up, because in my experience, neons are such a bitch to work with. They are always chalky and they're just a real hot mess to apply, but these ones were super easy to work with and I have no complaints about them. I will say though, the neon yellow, the neon green, and the blue that we used today, you do have to really build up those shadows. But again, you are able to blend it out, so it's really not a big deal to me. However, the matte pink that we used and the matte black, oh my gosh, they are so pigmented and just so buttery. I absolutely love the formula of them, especially the matte black in here. It is insane. I'll show you guys what I mean, but I barely put my finger in there right now, and like, look how pigmented that is. I'll show you guys what I mean on the back of my hand, but look at how pigmented that is. It is so nice, and it has just a really great formula to it. It's not chalky. It's not like that weird like gray black either. It is like a true matte black, so I'm really happy that they do have that in this palette. In case you're curious, here is the pink too. You see what I mean though? Like, they're just so nice. And why did I put the pink over the black? I'll show you guys what I mean like right here. But isn't that pretty? Like, the formula is just so smooth too. It doesn't have like that weird like chalky feel like a lot of neons do. Even though I absolutely adore the shadows that we used today, I will say a lot of the shadows look super similar, especially in this red palette right here. Like, some of these reds look near identical, and then these two shimmers right here in the red palette look like these bigger ones. And then you have like a red down here that looks like these. You have a red over here that looks like that. I don't know, it's just like, why wouldn't there be a little bit more variety with this one? And also, since they are mini palettes, like this one looks really out of place because the other ones are so warm. I don't know, it's just kind of like all over the place, and that's what I really don't like about it. Now I just want to show you guys like what I mean, but here's So Wild and here's Glow Show. So Wild, Glow Show. Go all night, darling. Go all night, darling. Glitz on, gleam big. Glitz on, gleam big. Obsessive till dawn. Obsessive till dawn. Extra attitude, work the room. Extra attitude, work the room. So when it comes down to it, would I recommend the Morphe 39L palette to you guys? And honestly, I feel like it kind of comes down to a couple of different things. If we're only looking at the formula of the eyeshadows, we're not looking at the colors themselves, they are so nice. Like, the mattes in here blend out like a dream. I literally had no problem with any of the shadows today, and also the shimmer was super sparkly and just really beautiful on the eyes. Though if we start looking at the colors in here, this palette's kind of a hot mess, like, no joke. You know, a lot of the shadows in here look really similar, especially once we swatch them. And also, like, this palette just is all over the place. I actually had a problem myself trying to figure out a look with it, just because it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, I know it's a little collaboration palette, but again, like how it's laid out, it's just kind of a hot mess trying to figure out like what to do with it. And I feel like if you're a beginner, you're gonna have a problem kind of figuring out like what kind of looks to do with it just because of it. I will say though, if you can get this palette on sale, I would definitely recommend picking it up because the quality is fantastic. I wouldn't pay full price for it just because there's so many shadows that look near identical, but if you can get, you know, like 25% off, you know, 50% off like what I did, I feel like it's definitely worth checking out at that price. But yeah, so in the comments down below, let me know what you think about this look, and also let me know if you're going to be picking up this palette. But as always though, I would really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button down below and gave this video a like. And also, if you'd like to check me out on Instagram, my Instagram account is @lethal_kitten. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!